Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel V. Hill, presented by Superbook Sports. Taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel V. Hill.
Glorious Friday to my two favorite people, or my favorite two people, Rachel and D-Mac from Edward. Well, good morning, first of all, to you, Edward. Thank you so much. Happy Friday, everybody. We hope you all are having a wonderful day.
Isn't that nice?
I know, that's like so nice. I always love seeing the comments before the show starts. It always makes me so happy. So thank you to Paul, Edward, Troy. You guys make my day for sure. Also, it's my sister's birthday today.
How old is she?
33.
And you're what?
27.
And was there anybody after you?
Nope. 6 years in between.
And who's older than the 33-year-old? Do you have another sibling?
Nope.
Just 33 and 27?
Yep.
6-year gap, huh?
6 years.
It's been an interesting conversation.
Like through the diaper stage, and then you're like, well, do we do it again? Sign it up, baby.
Years.
Here I am, everyone.
That is always such a tricky decision when you have two kids. Like, what is the perfect gap?
Yeah.
I sort of like that concept with your parents because they allow one kid to have their entire experience on their own without interrupting the other. For example, your sister went to high school all by herself. You didn't step on her toes. She went to college, theoretically, all by herself, where you weren't there. And so I would think that is a good age difference where you guys, theoretically, I would guess, are pretty good friends.
See, I hated it when I was younger, but I now see it.
Okay, all right.
She had like her first 5 years, with just mom and dad, whatever. And then I had it throughout high school of like, it was just me being the only child. So it worked out pretty well on that front. But I hated it because I always wanted to hang out with the like older kids. I wanted to be a part of the cool kid club.
Right.
But now I love it. She's gone through all the life stuff. She's gone through all the wedding stuff. She's married. She's got kids. Like, I feel like I can go to her for everything. And she totally is like, I understand. Here's what you're going to do. Like, take a breath. So I absolutely love it now.
Yeah, my brother and I were less than a year apart, and you would think you could go one of two ways. You could probably hate each other's guts, or you could probably be
best friends. Yeah.
You know what's quirky though with my brother is he just went on such a different path than me. Mm-hmm. He went to a private high school at his choosing. Like, he's the one that figured out. Oh yeah. No, my brother is amazing. And he's just a different character. He's an introvert. He was a scientist, a doctor, a Wall Street guy. A builder, unbelievable handy.
So he's mowing his own lawn, is what you're talking about.
Oh my God, my brother mowing his own lawn. I mean, he built his own floors, his own walls, he could build a house if he could figure it out. He's the smartest guy I ever knew. But it was interesting because we were so different. Yeah. It was difficult to be like super close too. Yep. I loved him and all sorts of respect, but I mean, we just hardly had anything in common. Yeah. And what's quirky is my two boys are kind of the same way. Mm-hmm. They definitely love each other, but they're so different.
I feel like that's for all my friends who have really close siblings. They all kind of tell me that. So even though, again, when I was in high school, I like hated it because she was in college and she was doing all this. Now I'm like, I feel like we're closer.
Still, I gotta say, your parents must have been like, well, we got the first one to school. Let's do it all over again.
Maybe my mom was like, okay, we got the first one to school. Now, in order for me to just be able to stay home a little bit longer, we'll bring in the second one.
Well, happy birthday. What's your sister's name?
Lauren.
Happy birthday, Lauren. Way to go. 33.
I know. So excited. She's actually going to see Barbie tonight.
Not Oppenheimer.
She has 3 girls. So 3 little girls. So they're all going. It's a family affair to go see Barbie.
Okay. That is an interesting double dip, though. If you want to catch the what is it? Barbenheimer? Barbie? Barbenheimer.
Matt, help us out here.
Barbenheimer. Listen, let me put it this way. I don't know how you would go see Barbie first and then go see Oppenheimer. Yeah. That makes no sense to me. But to go see Oppenheimer and then be like, oh my God, the end of the world, woo, and then let's go Barbie.
So maybe you do see Oppenheimer before, where you're like, oh, you're walking out of the theater and you're like, oh my gosh. And then you go see Barbie and you're like, Barbie.
Yeah, because Oppenheimer is really good. It's a true story. It's real serious.
Yeah.
They've actually done Fat Man and Little Boy. It was actually a movie kind of about the same thing years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm excited. Christopher Nolan, the director, and Matt Damon and all sorts of great actors. But Barbie's got like everything too.
I know. I might go see it tomorrow night. I'm not
gonna
lie.
Which one?
Barbie. Oppenheimer
Are you skipping Oppenheimer?
It's 3 hours long, and my attention span can't do that.
So Barbenheimer is gonna crush me for about a good 6 hours if I want to go back to back.
Your entire Sunday will be back to back. Yeah.
How do I convince my wife to do Barbenheimer over the weekend?
I don't know, but I hope you do. Okay. Keep me updated.
All right.
Which one do you think will make more money?
I would assume Barbie would make more money than a 3-hour movie about nuclear destruction. I mean, I'm gonna guess Barbie's gonna do better.
Barbie's estimated to make $110 million, and Oppenheimer is expected to make 50.
Yeah.
That's crazy, though.
No. That's about right.
Oh my god.
A 3-hour movie about nuclear bombs, and no. It's summertime. Hey, it's summertime. Let's go to the beach and chill out, and let's go watch Oppenheimer.
Let's go Barbie.
Like, yeah. You're more in a Barbie. I don't know.
A happy state. I don't even know what Barbie the storyline is, the plot of this movie is, but
you know what's funny? I am such a big fan. Oh my God, I'm forgetting her name. That's how big a fan. Margot Robbie.
Yep.
I am such a huge fan of Margot Robbie. I just went back and watched I, Tonya. Have you ever seen I, Tonya?
No.
Oh, it's about Tonya Harding.
Okay.
It's more of a comedy than anything.
Okay.
Do you know the whole Tonya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan thing?
No.
You don't?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my God. Are you in for a treat?
Should I be scared?
You don't know about Nancy Kerrigan, the figure skating, getting clubbed in the knee? You don't know any of this? You don't know Nancy Kerrigan, Tonya Harding?
No.
Oh, my God. Well, I shouldn't. You know what? I'm not going to say another word.
Zip, I will.
It's a sports sort of theme.
Okay.
In female competitive sports world. I actually am. That's crazy that you don't know that. All right. You are in for such a treat. You're not going to believe it. I'm not going to say another word about it.
Okay.
But wait till you see. What I would suggest, go see the movie.
Okay.
And then go to YouTube. Don't go to YouTube first. Don't spoil it for yourself.
Okay.
Because the movie does a great job laying out the story, and you're going to be shocked.
Okay. Well, let us know in the comments if you have seen. What's the name of it?
I, Tonya.
I, Tonya. Let me know if I need to see
Margot Robbie, Allison Janney. There's that dude that got nominated for an Academy Award. If I tell you more about it, I'm going to give it away, and I don't want to do that.
Let us know if you've watched it. We will move on, though. World Cup tonight, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Yeah. Vietnam versus USA. How you feeling?
Well, pretty confident. I mean, Vietnam lost 9-0 in their last game, and our friends at Superbook have the
line at 6.5.
Yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good about it. I have no doubts the U.S. women are going to win. It'll be fun to see some of the local women
stars
can sort of contribute to that. So
are
not that concerned about that tonight.
Are you taking the over?
I will take the over, sure. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to back off. There's no reason to let down. I've seen some other criticism about the U.S. women's team piling it up. I really don't care about that. The only thing I would say is they can score as many goals as they want. The game's going to run out eventually. If they win 14-0, I don't care. That's fine. I would say this. Once you get to a certain point with scoring, I do think, you can temper your celebrations a little bit in terms of how much you're celebrating the goals. Don't stop scoring the goals. That's fine, because scoring a goal in a World Cup is still a big deal no matter what.
For sure.
But let's, the celebrations maybe.
I feel like your celebrations are good for 1 through 3, and then you can celebrate, you can hug, and then it's like, all right, let's get this back going.
What do you think about that?
The celebrations?
Yeah, just to temper them a little bit.
I mean, this is like the biggest stage, I feel like, for women's soccer. So that's why I'm like, if you have the opportunity to score a goal, if it's your first one, go for it.
If it's your first one, like your first one ever, first one of the game?
First one ever or first one of the game, then go for it. But if you're going for a hat trick and like, all right, on the third one, let's bring it down just a smidge maybe.
All right.
If you are up big, I will say that.
Well, we'll see what happens. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win big. I think
they'll win too.
And then we'll go from there.
I love the Women's World Cup, though.
Yeah,
I don't get into it as much for the men's, but I feel like the women, I'm just like, let's freaking go.
Yeah. I was watching Canada, Nigeria a little bit last night before I fell asleep. It's so odd because the games are
so late.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. In fact, I think that was a draw. I think it was a tie.
I went to bed. My fiance, when we got home from a friend's house, turned on one of the games that was about to start, and it was like 11:15.
Yeah, it was really well played. There were a lot of good chances for both clubs. I believe it ended up in a 0-0 draw. So no, I listen. Anytime there's a major competition that means a lot, competed at the highest level, I'm all in. And the Women's World Cup is no different.
I love it. Megan Rapinoe, this is the last one. She's a legend.
So I'm a little confused. Is this like it like the World Cup and then she's retired, or is she gonna still play for another year?
I have that exact same question. I know this is her final World Cup. Like, this is it. This is the biggest stage. This is what she's gonna do. I don't know, and I haven't really heard anybody talk about if she's gonna be completely done. So it might just be up for question about like, this is the last time.
Okay. Well, I'm a huge Megan Rapinoe fan too. Yeah. So, and I go back to Mia Hamm and the 99 World.
Fun fact.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Sure.
So I was a soccer player growing up, not to like toot my own horn. I was pretty dang good until I decided not to take it as seriously as I probably should have. That's a whole other thing. Yada, yada. Mia Hamm, though, my dad was like huge on her. And so I got the nickname Bacon after Mia Hamm. And so for literally my entire childhood, I got called Bacon.
That's awesome. That's a great story. Does anybody still call you Bacon?
No, I don't get it anymore.
Nobody?
Nope.
Sad day. It's D-Mac and Bacon. Coffee break with Bacon.
It actually fits kind of well.
I think we could revive this.
Should we make a shirt?
Bacon. Yeah. I like it. I like
bacon. It. Now I'm just Rach.
I don't know, man. I could lean into bacon a little bit. What up, Bacon?
My dad would thrive if you
What's up, Bacon? Shaking bacon? I kind of like that.
Shaking bacon.
I started joking around by calling James Merilatt Jimmy because he had a problem with Michael Malone wanting to be called Michael, not Mike.
Yeah.
So I just said, all right, Jimmy. I call him Jimmy all the time now.
Has he ever said anything to you?
No, he's never
never had. It bothers him.
I just kind of like it. It's just kind of fun.
Should we text James and ask him if that bothers him?
Sure.
James Merilatt.
If I don't really.
James Merilatt, if you're watching this, I'm about to text you.
If it really does bother him, I'll stop calling him Jimmy. But I think it's just kind of fun. I could easily just start calling you Bacon. There's no problem with that.
My dad, like, it can be an inside joke. I love inside jokes.
Well, it'll be an inside joke that catches on until everybody starts calling you Bacon.
Could you imagine?
Well, Scrappy Will.
That's true.
I mean,
but Bacon's a little bit weirder than Scrappy Will.
Yeah. It's funny. I was just talking about Scrappy Will the other day because he went to Kent and he, like foo shishi. But in all honesty, the scrappiness of Will, the way this guy writes for DenverSports.com, what he does, he actually is pretty scrappy.
Yeah.
Like literally, it was definitely as a kind of a joke and sarcasm. But as time has gone on, he's really, I think it's a compliment because of how hard he works and what he does. And
he's so good at his job. Actually. And I actually think he's a really good driver too. He really
he's terrific in radio. Yeah. He's
lines
great.
You up with great questions.
He's great.
He provides you like backstory. He's so good.
I agree. And we got a good crew here, man.
We do. And then he gets angry at D-Mac too.
He does, but I always love Will, no matter what.
No, yesterday's show was so fun. Honestly, every single time. You know what? Not to be like he's the new. Him and Mike Evans are very similar when it comes to the way you guys argue.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment too, because I love Mike and I love Will and I love our whole crew. So,
D-Mac can argue with anyone. He can argue with the best of them.
This goes to the story I've told before. I'll make it quick. I was dating my wife for about a year or so, and she comes home for Thanksgiving. And we're at Thanksgiving at my parents' house and we have dinner. And after dinner, she goes, "Why were you guys yelling at each other?" And I go, "Yelling? That's just how we talk." I mean, it's like that wasn't even close to yelling. Yep. And it's just, I was asked the other day, like, is there a difference between D-Mac and Darren? And there's really not. This is just
What about D-Mac and Mr. McKee?
Yeah,
there's a difference.
There's a little bit different. That's like with my son's friends and stuff. But my favorite nickname, and only a few kids, they're adults now, really should call me this name, or I'd want to, is Coach. My favorite, and the kids that I did coach.
Coach and Bacon right here.
Coach and Bacon. So, but that would be silly. I don't want you to call me coach. But like the kids that I coached in baseball over the years, when they call me coach, and they still do, it's crazy. There's a handful of them. And when they see me, they still call me, oh my God, it's awesome. Oh. And hopefully more of that to come. I love coaching. I love working with, especially like middle school kids. Middle school kids are kind of a weird developmental sort of age frame, but I love them. Like they've learned enough so they know. I'm not so great at the very beginning stages. And there's so many ways to take care of kids through the high school years. Yeah. I think those middle school years, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, maybe a little bit of 9th grade, maybe a little bit of 5th grade. I really love working with that age group. So
I hated middle school.
A lot of kids do.
I hated it.
A lot of kids do. It's a confusing time for a lot of kids.
Yep.
And so, and a lot of kids who are playing baseball in middle school may never even play varsity high school baseball. True. It's just might not be their thing, but there's still a love of the game at that time. And at that time where it's so weird, just a weird middle school thing, just, to stay positive and like, be hopeful and optimistic and have fun. Ugh. And so I just love, and it's wild how good you can actually get at that time of your life between say 10 and 14. It's really incredible.
True.
So, and I love those kids. I love all the kids that I've coached. And if you've ever been coached by me, calling me coach is the best compliment you can give me.
Oh, coach, we love him.
Yeah, but I didn't coach you. Don't call me coach.
I won't call you coach. No, don't worry.
Please don't. That's actually
don't worry. Can you please update the Coffee Break fam on Harry?
My guy Harry Gustin signed his deal with the Padres yesterday.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so a lot of these Colorado kids, I saw Colby Shade sign with Tampa Bay, and I'm sure Jack Moss and Osman, and geez, I don't want to forget anybody. There's a bunch. Yep. Walker Martin. They're all signing their deals. And so it was cool. It was surreal to see my guy who was on Coffee Break in my kitchen.
We love him.
It was wild to actually just see him. It was almost like Little League, because like, in Little League, you wear major league teams. Yeah. So he's wearing like a Padres shirt. Yep. And I'm just like, okay, that's the real Padres. Yeah. That's not like a
that's not a costume.
Yeah, that's not like Little League or the fake Padres or even a developmental team that's the Padres. That's like the Padres.
Yep.
And he's signing the deal, and I'm just like, my man. I'm so pumped for Harry. I'm pumped for all the kids that are making their dreams come true.
For sure.
So way to go. Keep going. I love it.
Big Harry fan now. All right, Mr.
Yeah, we'll see where he goes. I don't know what he does. I think he goes to rookie ball in Peoria, which is the minor league training complex of the Padres. And I think
Peoria where?
Peoria, Arizona.
Okay.
And he'll be there probably, he said, through Thanksgiving, and then you get a little bit of a break, and then he'll go to minor league spring training. Peace.
Go Harry.
We'll see.
Harry.
We'll see what happens.
Jimmy did text back and said, no, not at all. He does not
There
care.
You go, Jimmy.
We love
my guy, Jimmy.
I haven't seen this at all, but I'm seeing lots of comments about it.
What's
Melvin
that?
Gordon, a Raven.
Oh, okay. News to me.
I haven't seen anything else on it.
On the roster or on the practice? Well, I guess it doesn't matter at this point. So they signed him for training camp.
Okay. Yep. Adam Schefter just tweeted it out once the show went live, actually.
Melvin Gordon for training camp for the Ravens.
A 1-year deal up to $3.1 million with the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh,
wow, that is shocking considering how many other names are available on the market.
Wow, that seems a little bit more than a practice squad sort of deal.
Yeah, that's a lot more than.
All right, I'm going to say something blasphemous. I liked Melvin Gordon. I thought he was cool to talk to. I thought he was honest most of the time.
Yeah,
not most of the time, like all the time. I liked him personally. I don't blame him for getting a contract offer that was worth millions of dollars. I don't hold that against him. I did think it was weird based on everything else to bring him back this past year.
Agreed.
And I think they did the right thing by letting him go because he just couldn't hold on to the ball, and that's what you need to do. So I don't view Melvin Gordon as a bad guy or he got into a DUI situation, but that went away.
Hopefully you live and you learn.
Yeah. So, all right.
I'll just let it go. I'm shocked. Like what we saw from him out on the football field, besides everything else, because I'm with you. Melvin Gordon's always been really great. He's always been super honest. But his ability to hold on to the ball, like when you watch some of his highlights as of recent, I'm just like, 3.1 mil,
I'll give you the other side of the coin.
Okay.
He's one of the bigger running backs out there. You know, he's over 6 feet tall, and his size is significant.
How tall is Zeke?
5'10", 5'9". I don't know. He's not as tall as Melvin Gordon.
6 foot.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Melvin Gordon's tall. They all lie on that stuff anyways.
Yeah, that's
Melvin Gordon's a bigger back who's got a lot of experience. I don't know what the Ravens running back room situation is. So
it just comes as a surprise. I think everyone in the comments agrees that comes as a big surprise to see him. 3.1 mil is not
up to 3.1. So that means there's a lot of bonuses attached to it.
That's really true, actually. There's some incentives
and likely, if it's not going all that well in training camp, there's probably no big cap hit or anything like that.
Oh my God, you guys are going to make my Friday. Are you ready?
What's up, Bacon?
Surprised he got the contract signed without fumbling the pen.
There you go. There you go. Forever loved in Denver.
He was a good running back with Jell-O arms.
There you go. Keeps going. Yeah, listen, there's like enemies of the States.
You can tell D-Mac does have some love for Melvin. You can't ignore the fumbles, though.
No. You had to move on from him.
You did.
It was the right thing to do. You couldn't trust him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't trust a running back with the ball, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So, no, I don't blame Elway for bringing him on in the first place.
No.
I think it set up a weird dynamic with him and Phillip Lindsay, obviously. I'm not sure why George Paton brought him back, considering everything aside from that, it was a cheap deal. But, you know, George Paton made a lot of personnel issues that you're kind of like, what are you doing?
True.
But whatever. I don't wish ill. Once guys are gone or you know, I mean, he didn't do anything to me.
No.
You know, I don't know. So I wish him the best. But if you're a fan and you just want to pile on guys that you couldn't stand or didn't like, you know, Rachel, that's the greatest thing about being a fan. The greatest thing about being a fan is being a fan and having your opinion and expressing it.
True.
I'm just here to tell you, from my interactions, he wasn't a bad guy.
No, he was a really good guy. But again, you can't ignore
he made a bad mistake, though, and I don't want to diminish, you know, the dangers of drinking and driving. And you know, that's terrible. That's awful.
As a player in the locker room towards the media, he was a very good guy. He was very nice. He always answered. I mean, I remember after some bad games he would still talk to the media and be like, it was on me.
Yeah, but listen, don't get me wrong. He still needed to be gone from the Broncos.
Yes, it was not a healthy relationship.
So
it was a toxic relationship.
So good
when
luck.
You were getting booed just walking out on the field.
He is a practice squad world champion with the Chiefs too.
Isn't that incredible?
He's got a ring.
That's absolutely incredible when you think about that.
Do you think it says PS like practice squad on the ring, or how do you think
I don't
they
know.
Do that?
Less diamonds. I don't know. I don't know. Good question. The Commanders, though, how about this?
Very interesting.
Holy smokes. What a deal that they had. Obviously, Broncos sold for $4.65 billion.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, B, right? We're adding the B onto that one. And then, here the Commanders come in and just absolutely rock that price.
6.05, I think.
6.05.
And you know what's fascinating? Did you catch Magic Johnson has a small stake in Wash,
and they're going to
maybe change the name.
Change the name.
How about that?
Which they should.
Well, yeah,
and the logo, please.
I don't blame them. The whole name change came under the Snyder regime. They're buying the car. If you buy a house and you want to paint it pink, you paint it pink.
Go for it.
Go for it. And why should you, as the new owners who just spent $6 billion, be defined by any decisions made by an administration that will go down in history as one of the worst ownership groups in NFL history? Mm-hmm. The lack of success they had during Daniel Snyder's time is
isn't it crazy
remarkable.
Though that you can be such a bad owner and yet you can walk away with $6.05 billion in your pocket?
It's
like
crazy.
When you actually think about that, that's like that. It doesn't make any sense to me. You can be so bad, and yet because the NFL is so prized and like such a prized possession, you can walk away. I mean, he just made $6.05 billion.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's
nuts.
Wild. He was a terrible owner, and he was not only terrible in terms of what they did on the field, but the off the field stuff with Washington is despicable. And there's and our friend Nikki Javala goes from covering the Broncos with their ownership stuff, and she goes over to the Washington Post.
How is she?
I'll send her a note today because she must have, I don't know how I haven't talked to her really. Well, first of all, Nikki has some very, very scary health issues going on that she has very bravely persevered through. And so, like, how is Nikki doing is always kind of a complicated question. But I think she's doing amazing, and I'm definitely going to reach out to her today to congratulate her to finally getting through all of the ownership stuff. She went from one ownership sort of debacle to another. Like, she had no break. Like, she just, like, one to another. So I'd love to talk to Nikki and catch up, make sure she's doing okay, of course, physically. But just covering Washington must be unreal.
That's cool. Did you hear what Josh Harris did?
No, what?
Okay, so
Josh Harris, the new owner, primary owner of Washington,
of the Commanders, who was also involved in the bidding for the Broncos.
He tried. Him and Magic Johnson and their group, they tried. Yep. They came in the runner-ups.
Now they get to own the Commanders.
Yeah,
maybe not for long.
What'd he do?
So he called into one of the radio shows down there, and then he heard about the parties that they were having, and he bought everybody at both parties a beer. How cool is that?
That's super cool.
That's like what you want to see from an owner.
Washington's fan base, when you go back in time, is unreal. Their history is incredible. Our own Mark Schlereth was a later Hog, but he was a Hog, the nickname for the offensive lineman, which is they love that there. That's a compliment. It's not an insult. So the history and it's a huge geographic area in that Washington, D.C., sort of Virginia, Maryland sort of area. It's huge.
Yeah.
And so they just have, I'll tell you this, man, based on their history and what they did in the past, they deserve better than Daniel Snyder, who wormed his way in because he just had a lot of money when he was very, very young. He was a lifelong fan. He plucked down, I mean, barely anything comparatively to own the team back in the day. And yeah, Rachel, you're right. I mean, it feels like, wow, you're such a terrible owner. Do you really deserve billions of dollars? But that's your reward in owning any kind of NFL team. And you see the jump from $4.65 billion for the Broncos to
6.05
in such a short period of time.
What's the next one?
Yeah, exactly. 8, 9, and in 10 years, what is it? 20?
Looks like the Walton Penner Group got a deal on the Broncos now.
Maybe. And I'm not exactly sure what their ultimate goal was, but if one of it was to be profitable, and I'm really impressed by them, Rachel. They've owned the club for a year. They've had to make some really tough decisions that they didn't think they would have to be making. They've done them. They've changed a lot of things. I mean, a lot of things have changed. And us muggles in the media, it's different. Like, there's not going to be, from everything I've heard, there's not going to be the barbecue the day before. The fan viewing is going to be significantly different.
I just want a free lunch, though,
I don't think you're the only one. This was kind of a cool event for endless amounts of years in Broncos history, where media people that sort of would compete against each other, everybody is kind of
hang out.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same place, same time. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? And it's like you just get a chance to hear from the owner for the most part. There's some really historic things over the years that have happened, including John Elway coming out and announcing Pat Bowlen would not be part of the organization.
That happened at the media barbecue?
That happened at the media barbecue. That was with tears in his eyes, and I'll never forget it. It was incredibly memorable. And it was something that most people in the media had known for more than 2 years. But nobody, you want to talk about a lot of respect.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about it. Nobody wrote about it. Nobody really did anything about it, but everybody knew it. So when Elway came out and announced it, it wasn't a huge surprise, but it still didn't mean it wasn't emotional. And rightfully so. You could make an argument that Pat Bowlen viewed John Elway as his third son.
Yeah.
You could make that argument. He was so close to him. So yeah, I remember that. Years and years ago, I asked Von Miller, was marijuana part of your life? That was at the media barbecue. Elvis Dumerville had to address the fact that he got in trouble with a gun at the media barbecue.
Oh my gosh.
What else has happened? Those are kind of some of the bigger sort of type of moments.
Does Von Miller like you?
I think Vaughn would be fine with me at the end of the day at this point.
Okay.
You know, like when I asked that question, it was incredibly legit. He was still a young player with unbelievable potential. And he, you know, man, he got caught up in the wrong things. He was going just down the wrong path. And to Von Miller's credit, well, first of all, he was put into the NFL's program, and he graduated from the program and didn't go back to it. But just Vaughn just had some, you know, growing up to do.
Yeah.
And to Vaughn's credit, to massive Vaughn's credit, boy, oh boy, did he do that.
He skirted and got back on the right path.
He did. And I got tons of respect for Vaughn and wish him nothing but the best. I absolutely love his charity. Vaughn has one of my favorite.
Vaughn's vision.
Because it's so like specifically targeted to something you wouldn't even think of, but think of the importance of not being able to afford glasses.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wild to think as a kid that you can't afford. Talk about something we all just take for granted. So Vaughn saw that opportunity, and I just absolutely love it. Yeah. He obviously loves Denver and the Broncos. Does he like me? I don't know. Who knows? I mean, we've seemed to get along over the years.
Yeah.
You know, we're not hanging out at Club 58 or anything. But
Club 58 is no longer a thing.
I don't know.
He sold his house here, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's true. But something tells me wherever Vaughn is Club 58.
That's probably true.
But Vaughn is one of the all-timers. Oh my God, my relationship with Vaughn goes so far back. It goes back to when he was drafted and running into him at the Commissioner's Ball while he was still in college.
Wait a second, you went to the Commissioner's Ball?
Yeah, this was whatever Super Bowl that was in 2011, I guess.
Yeah.
And he was coming out of A&M, and they invite a lot of the high-valued rookies, highly anticipated rookies to a lot of Super Bowl events. So Vaughn was just kind of around. And, you know, I was on with Alfred Williams at the time, and Alfred loved Vaughn. Didn't like Vaughn, loved Vaughn. And at the time, there was a big debate because it was Vaughn, Cam Newton, and Marcel Darius.
Okay.
And so there were a ton of people here in Denver, inside pass rusher, run stopper, Marcel Darius. There were a ton of people, Rachel, who thought the Broncos should take Marcel Darius. And but as we found out later, the Broncos didn't like Vaughn. They love Vaughn just like Al did. And so I wasn't as familiar, but as we got to know him more, it was like, oh, okay. And sure enough, you know, the Vonster and how good he was. But he, you know, listen, he struggled a little bit with the growing up stuff, and then he got his act together, and he's a legend. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yep.
He's an all-timer for the Broncos, and
easily.
And he wants to get into the world of being like a general manager or with a football organization. And I think that would be awesome. So I do envision a time, and I think this would be amazing, if Von Miller somehow came back to the Broncos, maybe as a player for a little bit. Yes. I mean, Shannon Sharp came back here.
Whoa.
It'd be great to have Vaughn end his career here.
You don't think if that would have happened, it would have happened before his contract with the Bills?
No, because he was looking for a big contract. And
there was still too many ties to
Vaughn
left
well,
before.
Listen, I would have signed Vaughn back up. I actually don't know why they didn't get Vaughn. I mean, they decided to go with Randy Gregory. I don't know. I would have
fresh start in the locker room kind of thing.
To think that Vaughn is like a negative in the locker room seems absurd to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I heard rumors about culture change and all this. I don't even know what to say.
That's what
I heard too. I don't know how having Von Miller on your team is a bad thing.
Yeah.
I don't
the
get
Bills.
it.
Look at the Bills.
I think he's a positive for that. He got injured, which sucked.
Yep.
And we'll see how he does coming back from his injury. He goes to the Rams. They win a Super Bowl. I don't know. He's Vaughn, man. He's the best.
My story with Von Miller was I was down in College Station. One of my best friends had gone to school down there, and it was our senior year of college. And we went out one night just to go see like what Aggieville was all about. And all of a sudden, all three of the girls I was with, their phones blew up, and it was all Von Miller is out. And they were like, we have to go find Von Miller. And I'm like, okay, like where are we going to go find Von Miller? When I tell you, you could easily spot Von Miller because every single person that was out in Aggieville at the time was looking for Von Miller. It was actually crazy. Like you could just see the like huddle of people walking down the streets and you're like, oh yeah, Von's probably somewhere in there. It was actually insane. They love him down there.
Yeah.
College Station is crazy.
Rightfully so.
Oh my gosh. That was such a wild night. It was just like all of their phones went off at the exact same time and they were like, Von Miller is here. Like he's a legend. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. That's my Von Miller story for you.
Okay. All right. We love Von.
Training camp's coming up 1 week away from today. It's going to look different. We're not exactly sure what it's going to look like, but it's 1 week away.
Well, I think it's going to look a lot like what we saw. Well, some people saw during OTAs. I mean, yeah. Low key brag.
Yeah, low key over here.
Yeah. I think you are going to like what you see. I think you're going to, a lot of what ex-players were critical about, 7-on-7s, 1-on-1s, typical sort of football stuff. You're going to see all of that.
Yeah.
It's all coming back. I think you're going to see very sharp, crisp practices. I think you're going to see a very well-organized system.
Do you think Sean Payton is going to show his hand, or do you think we're going to see very basic stuff for the first couple of days?
I think, that's tricky. I think you're going to see a lot of basic stuff, period, because I think the Broncos offense is going to be a lot of basic stuff.
Okay.
I think everything for the Broncos moving forward is going to be a lot of basic stuff. I think it's going to be 1-2 reads. That's it. I think you're going to see a very strong power game running the ball. I think you're going to see an efficient way to do everything. So you're going to see it may look kind of simple and may not look all that complicated. And frankly, maybe it may, after a few practices, look a little boring.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
but
sure.
I think that's going to be the Broncos offense. I think that's the way Sean Payton intends to succeed. And I think it's I think it's a great plan. I think it's the right plan.
Simple, basic, boring.
Kind of, but winning, or gives you the potential to win, and it doesn't make stupid mistakes, and it's not panic city. And whether you win or lose those close games will probably depend on a lot of NFL things, 1 or 2 plays. And then at the end of the day, the secret sauce is the player that gets paid the most money, the quarterback, making plays or perhaps not making the plays, staying healthy or not staying healthy. It's no, but it's not going to be like chaos. I mean, we've had seasons around here, Bacon, of just chaos. Like you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like it's wild.
Will Sean Payton purposefully make Russell Wilson look really good? Or do you think we'll see a few things that test Russell Wilson?
I think he's going to put Russell Wilson in a position to succeed as much as humanly possible. I don't think he's going to try to make him look good or make him look bad or put him in a compromised position. I think he's going to have, I think he's going to know Russell Wilson's game and ability. I think the fact that Russell Wilson got in better shape theoretically is a good thing. I know like our own Nate Jackson is a little worried, like if he's in better shape, does that mean he thinks he can do more things or
run out of the pocket,
all of that stuff?
Yeah.
Now, a big part of Russell Wilson's game is moving in the pocket, and moving outside the pocket and throwing the ball down the field and playing football, being a football player and making plays. Well, okay, because you need that. Every quarterback of his size, because he's not a pure pocket passer. He's not like Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. Guys of his size have to make plays happen. Patrick Mahomes does that. And he's certainly bigger than Russell Wilson. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I don't think it's that big of a deal. But I doubt you see a lot of that during training camp.
Okay.
I mean, I doubt it because I didn't see any of that during the OTAs and the mini camp. And I'm thinking that this is going to be the same. It's going to be tricky, Rachel, because you only have 3 preseason games. However,
thank goodness for that.
I think he's going to play in the preseason games.
Oh yeah.
And that's another change from Hackett. He didn't play his starters in the preseason games. You remember that? He didn't play anybody.
We'll see Russell Wilson for a half. We'll see Jared Stidham for a half.
I think in order to be ready to play football, you've got to play football at some degree.
But don't you think that's game 3, as it's always been?
I don't know. Everything is so different now. It's hard to project exactly what anybody's going to do. I would be in favor of him playing in every game. Every preseason game, get some reps in, use it to your advantage.
But I am excited to see Jared Stidham.
Okay, why?
Well, I mean, he's young, he's new, he's fresh. We've seen what Russell Wilson can do. I know it's a different coaching staff and whatever, but I'm excited to see how Jarrett Stidham looks compared to Russell Wilson. If it's like you can't really tell a big difference, then it's like, okay, well, regardless of how Russell Wilson does, we'll see.
Stidham had some really nice moments in spring.
He's young and he's fresh. So it's like, all right, I want to see what he has.
Okay, but except for some sort of catastrophe injury-wise, you're not going to see – the only time you're going to see Jarrett Stidham on the field for the Denver Broncos is if the season – has virtually fallen apart.
So you don't think even if we talked about this with Nate Jackson?
I mean, injuries are injuries. Injury can happen at any time.
But if there's one game where he's thrown 3 interceptions in the 5 minutes left to go in the half, you don't think that they're like, Russ, it's just not your day, dude. We need to focus on winning this game.
What's the season like? That's a bunch of. I would have a million other questions. What's the record of the team at that point?
6-3, 4-5, 4-5.
He's 4-5. He's never coming out of the game in that situation. No way.
So you're saying what if they're 3-6?
If they're 3-6,
but at that point the season's already over.
No. That's a tricky number. 3-6. The Broncos were 3-6 with Vance Joseph, and they went and they won 3 games in a row where it was 6-6, and there was a lot of hope. And then the 49ers and George Kittle had like 200 yards in one half, and they like lost 20-0, and right. But that was. And then they lost their next 4 games, but they got to 6-6.
Okay. And
it was like, oh, okay. Like, hey, you never know here.
Figuring it out.
3-6 is not.
Yeah.
3-6 is a really interesting number.
Yeah.
So, and that is a super interesting number too, because it's after the bye week. It's after the trade deadline.
Yep.
It's theoretically that 6th loss was against Buffalo on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're playing a game 10.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, that's actually a really good maybe, because maybe at that point, like the season ain't over. You still got a shot. You've got winnable games. And now you're talking about that 10th game. Oh my gosh, my memory's bad. I don't know who they play after Buffalo. After the 9th game, maybe you can
Broncos
look it up.
Schedule. We've got. Hold on, everybody.
All right.
Don't fret. I got the schedule.
That's a good one though, because
that's the summer league schedule. That's not the one I want.
The season isn't close to over. You just lost to Buffalo. I mean, theoretically, I do know you probably have lost your last 3 out of 4 games because you have Kansas City, another game, and then Kansas City.
Yeah.
Bye week, Buffalo. So what you're really talking about at 3-6, you're probably talking about losing 3 out of 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
And that means you have
the Vikings.
So you're playing against the Vikings. Yeah. Oh man, that's such a good example. It's a good team, but it's not a world beater team. What do you do if Russell Wilson, what's the score of the game?
He's thrown 3 interceptions before the second half.
Yeah, what's the score of the game?
17-0.
I think that is the perfect scenario to put in Jarrett Stidham.
That's what I'm saying.
The game's not out of hand.
Which is why I want to see him in preseason.
Okay. All right,
That's
cool.
All I'm saying.
Cool. Rachel's really fired up for week 11.
Vikings coming to town.
Rachel is
Kirk Cousins and the Vikings.
It's November 7th and bacon is on fire. Let's see what Stidham has in July so we can be ready for like November 9th.
Perfect. We love to see it. We just had a special guest walked into the studio. Did you know that?
I'm blinded by the light, as Manfred Mann and Bruce Springsteen would say.
Is that? Do you need Von Vision to help you with your glasses?
I can't. Who's our guest?
Gotta look over there. Should we bring him up?
I can't.
Should we ask him his thoughts on?
Oh, it's Jimmy!
It's Jimmy! Should we ask him his thoughts on Melvin Gordon? I'll even scoot over a little bit.
I didn't mean to crash the party. I was just
it's always
good to
see you, Jimmy.
I heard you guys talking, and I was like, I'm gonna pop in and watch the show live.
You can hear us from outside.
Oh yeah, you can hear every word. So just be warned for the post-show meetings.
All right.
I'd assume everybody could hear that too.
Good to know. Hey, this is the best part about Coffee Break is we just kind of go with things on the fly, and I feel like the audience loves it. Melvin Gordon, signs 3.1. I haven't seen the exact numbers on what this is supposed to look like. I don't know if you have your thoughts.
I like Melvin Gordon. I'm one of the few people in Denver who likes Melvin Gordon.
Too.
I think he got himself in trouble because he was so honest at the podium and on podcasts and saying things that were true, but sometimes people didn't want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
He had things stacked against him from day one here, and then he didn't help himself. So I think Melvin Gordon is like Chuck Knobloch, when he couldn't throw the ball from second base to first base. And the more he worried about it, the less he could do it. The more the fans at Yankee Stadium were on him, the less he could do it. He needed to get out of here, go somewhere else where they're not thinking he's going to fumble every time he touches the ball for good reason. I think he'll be a good fit in Baltimore. I think he will.
I saw somebody comment. I don't know if this is true or not, but they're saying that it's like a $900,000 contract, but there's an incentive for no fumbling. Is that true? Have you seen that?
I have not seen that.
Wait a second.
But I don't buy that. I don't know that any agent would take that.
Rachel.
I just saw it. Hey, that's how we found out, was the lovely people in the comments.
This is like in Phoenix when I had to stand like this so we were the same
quite
height,
literally,
and my legs would not work afterward, which is why I couldn't jump in the pool.
It's funny.
It actually makes me laugh.
I don't have to worry about doing anything to adjust to be the same height.
Well, and I'm also wearing they got quite a platform on them too, so I'm pretty short already. I'm fine.
I'm not particularly tall, but in this picture,
let me stand. Let me stand all the way up. Wait, I got off the box.
So you guys, I walk in and you're talking about what week they're going to replace Russell Wilson. That's the narrative.
No.
Well, Rachel said, I'm excited to see Jarrett Stidham.
I'm excited.
I paused and I said, well, aside from injury.
He just doesn't think we'll see him at all this season.
Well, no. We came out with a scenario.
Yeah.
3-6. You've just lost 3 out of 4, 2 to Kansas City. I don't know who's in between Kansas City, but for the sake of argument, just say you got to win there. Bye week. Then you just lost to Buffalo, right? So now you're 3-6. So
the Packers.
Okay, so you beat the Packers, right? So you've lost 3 out of 4, and now you're playing the Vikings, and you're losing 17-0 at halftime, and Russell Wilson has thrown 3 interceptions. Who's coming out to play the second half?
We sound like such negative Nancy.
Russell Wilson.
Hey, I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
The salary cap implications, if you move on from Russell Wilson after this year, they're just so prohibitive. He will have to be worse than he was last year for them to even entertain and consider that move.
Well, his Madden rating's only a 76.
Dude, I just gave you a scenario.
I don't think it's bad enough. I don't think that's a bad enough scenario where they move on.
But what if they're just like, hey, Russ, this is clearly not your game.
If it's as
you're
bad
a veteran quarterback.
Yeah, who's saying that he has to be benched for the rest of the year?
I
mean, it's 17-0 at halftime. The game's
once you get benched though, especially at home, that is a tough one to come back from. Like, that's a big move. It's Peyton Manning against the Chiefs. He would have to be that bad in that first half.
We just said it was 17-0. I think it was 20-0 for Peyton Manning.
Fry missed 4 kicks. I don't know how they got to 0.
I don't know either. But
he's moving them up and down the field. I don't know.
It's 3 interceptions. Okay. But I'm just excited. I want to see Jarrett Stidham in preseason games. I'm excited to see a young, fresh face. That's how this conversation.
I think you will absolutely have moments during training camp and preseason where you're like, whoa, Jarrett Stidham. Like, that's cool. But you may also have those moments with Jarrett Guarantano and with what's his face? I'm forgetting his name now.
Ben DiNucci.
Ben DiNucci. Ben DiNucci's actually played in real NFL games, and so is Jarrett Stidham. Actually,
it's a classic example though of everybody loves the backup quarterback. And Jarrett Stidham, there's not a single statistical category that his career numbers are better than Paxton Lynch's. Not one.
Do you think they should have got Marcus Mariota?
I'm definitely swayed by the fact that I just watched quarterback, and it's like he seemed to play pretty well in that. Now I know the editing makes it look that way, and he did bail on his team,
and he lost like 4 out of 5 games, he quit on his team,
which is kind of a big red flag for me. So I'm going to go with that. Listen, it needs to.
But look where he is though.
Bust.
Look where Marcus Mariota actually is. He's the backup for the Eagles, and you would say, oh, okay. I mean, theoretically, wouldn't Russell Wilson and Jalen Hurts have a very similar type of game? And Mariota's their backup. Stidham, to me, is like more of a pocket passer, bigger guy.
But I think that's the point of Russell Wilson, or this plan's not working.
He's what Sean Payton wants to do.
I agree. I think that's right. I think when you see Mariota in Philadelphia, it's a commitment to Jalen Hurts and the system. I think what you see here in Denver is Russ is yours to lose. But if you lose, we're not sticking with that. We're going in a significantly different direction. But he would have to, be abysmal. Abysmal.
Well, and it's also just the difference of where these teams are, right? Like the Eagles, they were in the Super Bowl last year. They have championship aspirations. If Jalen Hurts is hurt for a month, how do they keep the train on the track? if Russell Wilson is hurt for a month, then let's find out what else we have here.
And that's exactly what happened with Joe Flacco here, if you remember. It was like a 3-7, I don't know. And he got hurt. That's air quotes for hurt. Yeah. Like, I think he really would have been okay. But that was the end of the Joe Flacco thing. They just simply moved on. And that was after he gave the "what are we doing here" press conference. Mm-hmm. So that probably didn't sit well with the front office either. Yeah. And so we never saw Joe Flacco or his 9 kids that he had in 3 years with his wife ever again in Denver. No, he really seriously had 5 kids in 6 years. It was one of the most remarkable Broncos stats of all time. But when I bring
up Phillip Rivers having 10, you're like, oh, yeah, it's just
normal. No, because I told you, once you get past kid 5, why stop? I mean,
what made you stop at 3?
It's already divide and conquer. Like, how do you divide and conquer 10 kids?
Because the just by the way math goes in life, the older 3 kids are already in college or upper high school, and they're just other parents. You have born other parents to help you with things.
I already feel like my 3rd one kind of raises himself. Like, it's a little bit Lord of the Flies. I don't know how you would do 4, 5, 6.
Well, having a 4th kid would be no big deal after 3. I mean, you've got all the stuff. The crazy thing is you didn't have a girl, so
right. It was easy.
Yeah.
Just pass it all down. Right. Pass it all down.
There you go. Who are you most excited to see at training camp? And you can't tell me Russell Wilson.
I can't say Russell Wilson. I can't say Sean Payton.
Nope.
Javonte Williams, seeing if he's back from the injury would be huge.
Tim Patrick.
I want to see Tim Patrick and Courtland Sutton. Does Courtland ever get back to what he used to be? Mm-hmm. Where is Tim Patrick? I think
KJ Hamler be healthy? We'll see.
I think
so. A lot of question about the running back room or the wide receiver room.
Big time.
Yeah.
Offensive line, just to see if they're better. I mean, that was a huge problem a year ago.
Yeah.
That will be interesting. And then to me, and I was just on with the Players Club, I think the key to this team defensively is Randy Gregory. Now, you may not like that that's the key because he's had a history of not being out there for various reasons. But if they can get more than a dozen games out of Randy Gregory, they're going to be pretty good defensively because that makes Allen better. It makes everybody on the defense better. If they don't, I think they're going to be a lot like they were in the second half of last year after the Bradley Chubb trade.
Well, you just mentioned Zach Allen. He's a huge free agent pickup. Lots of money there.
Lots of people are excited about him too.
Well, they should be. And it was Zach Allen, not Draymond Jones. That's the decision they made. And you have somebody, you hired Vance Joseph. They eventually hired a defensive coordinator, and it's VJ. And Zach Allen was his guy. So, okay, let's see. But I think that's a really why are we laughing at that?
Because
the way I'm standing. My back was starting to hurt. I thought it was like my legs are going to hurt instead of my back.
You're just too tall and too handsome.
Pick my poison.
Too tall and too handsome.
Continue though.
No, I think I'm done.
We were having our own little inside joke over here. We're sorry.
I didn't mean to cut you
Zach Allen, good. Next. We'll see. I think it's a compelling thing.
Though? That's another George Payton signing that at some point he has to be held accountable for the Courtland Sutton and Tim Patrick contracts, the Russell Wilson contract, the Randy Gregory contract, his free agents this year. Now it's partially Sean Payton too, but at some point he needs to hit on one. I don't know that he's hit on any big contract he's given out.
I don't think he'll get any credit though for any of the offseason because I feel like everyone's just going to give it to Sean Payton.
Well, and that might be fair because before Sean Payton, all of his big money deals were a disaster.
Yeah.
So now if it all of a sudden turns around, you would say, well, what changed? Sean Payton got into the mix.
Big boy, big coach, Sean Payton.
John Payton, it's his world. It's his rules.
Johnny P.
We're all adjusting to it.
What are you most nervous for training camp?
I am nervous about this defense, the defensive line in particular. I think they're and injuries because this is you can look at their starting 22 and it's like, all right, not bad. I can talk myself into it.
Yeah.
They have no depth at all.
Yeah.
So, the season, this isn't why it went awry, but like the Tim Patrick injury last year in camp just started things kind of down the wrong path. You got to get through training camp without one of those. You just don't lose somebody. You're going to have some injuries, but if it's, hey, he's going to miss the first month, okay. Don't have a season-ending injury in training camp or the preseason. That's always the goal. That's always my worry. I'm not going to change from it.
You guys, I could not get over. If everyone could just see James's legs, they're so far.
I'm sitting on my tiptoes.
I can't get over it. It is Friday though, which means it is time for Ask Us Anything. So drop any questions you have in the comment. I did see somebody earlier who asked about if you don't have tickets to watch the Broncos, what do you do? I know they're doing this return ticket thing, I guess. So there might be tickets that become available. But if you guys, any advice on if you don't have tickets at all, what would
I'd go. I would just go.
Me too.
Show up.
That's not what they want us to say. I'd show up and play dumb.
Yep. I'd just go.
I mean, really, what are they going to do?
Yeah. Make him turn me away.
I mean, here's what I would do. I wouldn't go early. There's no point to go early. Not really. I would show up at about, if it starts at 10 a.m., I'd show up around 10:35. I mean, that's about all you want anyway, about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then,
it's
like seeing the movie Barbie. You want to see Barbie, not Oppenheimer, when you go to a Broncos training camp. I want to see both, for the record.
You can't get a good ticket to Oppenheimer till Sunday.
Is that right?
Really?
Dang.
Oh, wow.
Tried to go last night. Nothing today. Nothing tomorrow. Nothing.
I'll figure
if you want to see it in IMAX,
boys.
which if you're gonna go see it in IMAX.
Oh,
right. You're supposed to see like the 17-inch. That's what it's like made for.
Okay.
I sound like
17-inch.
Yeah, he like made it for that specific, or like 17 something. I don't know.
I doubt it's 17
I know now that I say 17. 17 feet. I don't know. Don't just
big screen. IMAX.
Screen.
Yeah, you want to see it on the IMAX.
Don't put me on the pressure.
And there's like certain IMAXs which we don't have one that are the best ones.
Yeah.
I think the closest one is Tempe.
I'm going.
So if you really are into Oppenheimer, get on a bird, fly to Phoenix, take an Uber to Tempe.
How did the world almost end in the most visual stimulating scenario possible? Tempe.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
They did build the bomb. They got it done first.
Stop.
I don't want to give away too much.
Stop.
But
Hey, how about this? How about this one? Don't spoil anything. Bacon, her nickname, Bacon does not know anything about Tonya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan.
I don't.
What?
I know. I'm gonna watch it.
Everybody weren't alive when that
exactly.
happened. That was such a big story. I
mean, don't give away.
I'm gonna go watch it.
She not only does she haven't seen the movie I, Tonya, she doesn't know anything about the story.
Which the movie's really, really good.
And that's what I
really well done.
That's what I said. Well, I, Tonya was out like 7 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
So I say go see the movie first.
That's Margot Robbie, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that's how we got out.
Okay. That's how we got into it, because we were talking about.
We were talking about
Barbenheimer.
Matt, help us out again. What is it?
Barbenheimer.
Right.
We were talking about Barbenheimer, the ultimate double dip.
That's the worst double feature ever.
Well, but if you were to go to it, how would you go to it?
I'd have to go Barbie first.
What? That is ridiculous.
You go the sad thing, and then you walk out and you feel better.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
After 3 hours of Oppenheimer, and it's going to be so intense, I will be drained. I wouldn't be able to go sit for another
3 hours of one movie. Is
you think Barbie would be a little foolish after seeing Oppenheimer?
Yeah, I'm gonna go have I want the bubble gum first, and then let's get to the steak.
Okay.
I think that's the exact opposite. God, the things we can disagree about. My Lord.
I love the questions that are coming in. Rachel, would you be game to ride thunder at a Broncos game? Absolutely. Oh, my fiance just texted me a 70 millimeter LMAO. That's the screen size.
Yeah,
70 millimeter, not 17 inches.
There are certain places where you
I knew it was a 7 something.
Like, hey, look at Oppenheimer. Let's all.
I was thinking like.
Wait, this cell phone's a little too big.
I was thinking like feet, and then I was like, wait, that doesn't even make sense.
So you got a flip phone over there.
Oh, and apparently you're right about something. If you're on a practice squad of a Super Bowl winning team, do you post it on social? Do you post the ring on social?
Well,
I would post it.
Melvin Gordon did.
He's over here making fun about me.
I called Damani Leach Dasani yesterday on the air. I am so a mile long, 3 inches deep.
I would not post my Super Bowl ring on social media.
The team's going to do it for you anyways. So you might as well do it.
I'm not going to brag about it.
You're part of the team.
I'm not.
You want to gloss.
Have you ever post your kids' trophy on Facebook or something?
No,
I don't know.
I didn't win it. They did.
Did they post it on theirs?
I don't know if they did. That's their business.
I'm telling
you know what? If they were
now.
bench warmers, I'd say, hey, take that post down. You didn't do anything.
Wow. Wow.
Would you bet the Avs at plus 850 to win the cup?
That's pretty good value. I'd like to see if that goes up a little bit. Try and get them at like plus 1,000. But they're a good pick. They really are. I'm not going to Matt Smith this and say they don't have a chance. I mean, they were the favorite going into the playoffs a year ago. I'm gonna say Val comes back. So sure, I'd bet that.
The frustrating thing about the Avs is that our window of certainty closed last year, unfortunately, and now you're left into probably where they were 4 years ago, not just last year. Listen, things went poorly. Their best chance to actually win a second cup would have been if they stayed healthy and Gabe came back last year. They got unlucky and they made some bad personnel decisions.
They did,
and it and they made I think a terrible decision in panic to try to win the Central by overextending themselves just to get there, as exemplified by starting Georgiev in back-to-back games here and then in that silly game in Nashville they had to do. It was just too much. They got there, but by the time they got there, they were spent, and that's why they lost game 1 to the Kraken. They had no depth, no scoring depth. They had no players that knew how to do anything. They were too small, and that's why they lost in 7 games to a team that lost to a team that lost to a team that lost to a team. They weren't even close.
They were that close, right? No, they made the wrong decision in terms of worrying about contracts that might be bad 5, 6, 7 years down the road instead of, hey, we're in our window. How do we try to win now? How do we try to become the first team in 40 years to win 3 in a row? They had a chance to do that. They really did. I don't think they're totally out of it, though. So let's put a little bit of faith in Joe Sakic and Chris McFarland that they push the right buttons this time around. Plus 850, that's some good value.
I still think that they're a playoff team for sure. All right, last one.
Playoff team.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, we're talking about it.
Yeah, but see, that was the problem with their thinking last year. Like, it wasn't enough to get in. Like, they had to win the Central, and I rolled my eyes on it because I realized how good they were on the road when they won the Cup. Like, don't freak out if you have to play Dallas or Minnesota on the road. Listen, I know, James, you're with the load management and everything, but I mean, look what they did in their final 3 games in 4 days, and what they did to sort of get there. It was just like, yo, man, like, chill out a little bit.
It took a broken pipe. Was it on Christmas that the game in Nashville was supposed to be played?
It was right around there.
Yep.
Funny, nobody paid much attention to that, and that's the game they had to go back and play a new game 82.
Yeah,
and
that broken pipe really did kind of derail things for the Avs because they got in the early hole against the Kraken, and you felt like they could just never get out of it.
Yep. Yeah. All right, last one. Rachel, if you could have any pro athlete, past or present, other than Champ Bailey at your wedding, who would you have? And DMAC and James, same for a picnic or a party. I have 2 answers.
What, ex-athletes?
Yeah.
Like pro athletes?
Yeah. I have 2.
God.
One, because I think he'd be a people pleaser no matter where he was, would be Peyton Manning. I think you could throw him in any room and you're like, all right, he's good. He's got this. My second one would be Michael Phelps.
Okay.
Then I'm going to have to go Jordan. Mainly,
that's a good one too.
I want people to leave and go, can you believe he had Michael Jordan at his wedding?
That's a good one.
I don't care if Michael was the biggest jerk ever and never even talked to me. It's just, that's pretty good. Like, holy cow, how did he get Jordan here?
That's a good one.
I'm going with Freddie Patek. He was a shortstop for the Royals back in the 70s. He's 5 foot.
No, it's Harry.
It's 5'6". I don't want anybody taking the shine off my event.
Okay.
I might have Freddie actually work the bar. It's my day. It's my day.
And on that note, that's going to do it for Coffee Break. We love hanging out with you guys every single weekday, 10:30 a.m. Definitely come back on Monday morning. We'll be chatting probably more about training camp and who knows what's going to happen over the weekend. Have a wonderful one, everyone. Bye.